It's finally time for the Harry Potter crochet review. We're not here to see me. Oh, hi. We're here to see this guy I'm going to talk about him and the contents within this box. So let's go ahead and get to it, and let's see what my thoughts are. So this is the box and some of the yarn. I'm being honest with that. Some of the yarn is still sitting on my desk. So the box comes like this. For whatever reason, I didn't throw out this box. So the book sat here, this sat there, and all the yarn bits sat there. And they came basically like this, or twisted up in some way. So you would have to roll them up. Now, it comes with enough yarn to make Dobby and Harry Potter. So as you can see, I still have a lot of leftovers, especially since there's more on my desk. So 5 stars for the amount of yarn they gave me. I also was kind of wasteful on my sewing ends on him and left way more than I needed to. So definitely gave plenty of yarn. That's pretty awesome. As far as difficulty to make him, the instructions are very easy. I didn't bother with his sock because I just wanted to get on here and get this done. I feel like his head was a little wide. I probably could have shrunk, taken 2 rows out. That's personal preference, though. Did I stuff his legs and arms? No, I didn't. I feel like the bottoms of his feet could have been stuffed, but by the time I thought about it, I would have had a fight to get it through the leg. So recommendation, if you get this kit, is when you're making the legs and arms, if you want to stuff them a little because they're going to be skinny, kind of stuff them as you go. I do like these eyes. I have some similar, so I was planning on making Dobby again with a different type of yarn. And my personal thoughts on the yarn in the kit. It is a very cheap yarn. I don't really have a problem with that because sometimes the cheaper yarns are really good for someone that's new to crochet to work with because they can kind of take a beating. But as far as he's concerned, like feeling him, this, whatever brand it is very cheaply made. It's scratchy type of yarn for his skin tone. The others are a little bit softer than it, so I felt like it was just, they got a really good deal on that color. Specifically in the book, it does not mention a specific brand. It just says the the weight of the yarn. So, let's see here if I can get you. I want to say this has instructions in it too. Yeah, it does. It gives you some embroidery tips and, different stitches. So like how I'd shown with the Star Wars finger puppet kit, this has some similarities to that. Now, let's see here. I'll go ahead and turn you around as in this book, you can make Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, Ron Weasley, Dobby, Hagrid, Norbert the Dragon, Albus Dumbledore, Minerva, so McGonagall, the Sorting Hat, Voldemort, Snape, Ginny Weasley, and Hedwig. I feel like that's, and they did have one section that's just student robe and scarf, but it's not an actual person, so I didn't include it. But that's because you could make other characters essentially having the student robe and scarf. So as far as like how that goes, it has 14 projects in it. I want to say that's more than what the finger puppets had. I'd have to count it, but it would be similar. So there you go. The difference is these are different sizes, different complexities. So this is actually probably a better deal than the finger puppet one. In some ways, them not having any specification in yarn for this does give you a bonus, because then you can focus on really just getting something that's easily accessible to you or using up your stash to make these. In this, they do focus on using the chain 2 and then make your circle for working in the round in that first chain. I don't like that when it comes to making little stuffies and stuff like this, because it leaves too big of a hole. Sometimes you notice it more than in other places, and depending on the item you're making, well, sure, you could sew it in at the end. It just kind of depends. So I did use magic circle on this guy instead of what it asked for. I did try to do as the instructions specifically said for his ears, and there was just too big of a hole in the middle of his ears, so I went back and then did magic circle. But otherwise, he was very simple to make. He's actually pretty quick to make too. I just kept getting distracted, and so something that would have taken me very little time took a whole bunch. Let's go ahead and look back at that kit. There was a little bit more stuff in it. So this was, like I said, a Christmas gift a few years back, and I had started to make Dobby, and the yarn was so rough. It just, it kind of threw me off even bothering to make him. And everything sticks to that yarn, so keep that in mind too. You might want to get him and then just get your own yarn. So it does come with this wand, which is super cute and fun. It is a wand crochet hook, but as you can see me bending it, it's very flimsy. I did not, so as far as like the kit coming with everything you need to make the two, that's a yes and a no. You're going to have to be really careful with this if it still has this hook in it to make these. I actually ended up using one of my metal hooks to make him. It let me have the tight tension I needed to make him look like he does. It does also come with a needle, and here's some of the black embroidery yarn to do the fine stuff with, and like make the lightning bolt on Harry's head. There is another eye in the box, it's just not in the bag, but I do have Harry's eyes. So you do get all the colors. You get the, see there went the eye. You do get safety backings too. And then here's the needle that it came with. So a little bit bigger hole than like a regular sewing needle, which is good. You need more of a tapestry type, but you don't need it as big as a tapestry needle to go in these tiny bodies. For size purposes, here's how big he is. And realistically, if you altered these patterns a little, you could make them into finger puppets too. Recommendation would be to get a stitch counter, just like I said for the finger puppets. So I'll put a link for these in the description below. Okay. Lots of ums. I'm gonna finish you off real quick. So, price point. That's pretty much where I was getting at, but I was umming. So the price point right now, if you go to Amazon, is $12.49. Which, for the cost of paperback books these days, that's great. Essentially, you're paying for the book, which is what I always say. When you're buying this kit, you're buying the book. So you're paying $12.49 for this book. And then you're getting all these other materials free. Mine was apparently a special edition. To get this, when I was looking online, it just has a regular metal crochet hook in it. So if you're getting it today or anytime after you see this, unless there's a special edition, it will have a metal hook in it, which will work great. It's just a simple one. It's not anything fancy, but it will do the job plenty fine. I have similar here. And it's similar to the one that was in the Star Wars finger puppets that I talked about last week. So as far as the yarn goes, like if I was to grade the different and rate the different parts of this kit, as far as all the aspects with the yarn, I would say the yarn alone by itself is like 3 to 4 stars. I really feel like it should have 4 stars because there's more than plenty there. So you have plenty of room to mess up. You have plenty to make the 2 and then maybe a little bit extra. What you don't have is good quality yarn, but you're only paying $12.49 for the kit. So balance. Is this book worth $12.49? Sure. It actually feels a little bit sturdier than the Star Wars finger puppet one. Like, it's got a thicker binding cover. So for me, I was going to tear out both of them. I actually was talking about that with my husband, and I'm deciding that I'm not going to tear up this one. I'm going to use it to test a book holder, because I was actually able to kind of like push things against it and keep it open. So with that, this one might be more viable to stay as a book, which is awesome and a bonus. Does it come with everything you need to make the 2? Most definitely. You just need to pay attention and count. So do I have recommendations? Yes. If you're getting this, I would get stitch counters if you don't have them. If you're getting this and it has this hook in it, buy a different hook of the same size. So you have a metal one. So that way, if you're new to crochet or not, you can pull as tight as you want on it. You're not going to break the hook. Because breaking the hook sucks, especially when it's cute like that. That's really just more for show. Totally worth it too. That hook is actually why they got me the kit. And it was totally worth it. It's totally cute. I keep it on my desk. I just don't use it. So overall, I would rate this a 4.5, I guess, to a 5. And that's really just because I really just don't like that yarn. But that's personal preference. And like I said, trying out the patterns, using that to just give it a go to see how much I like them. Again, it's totally worth it because I also didn't get shorted on yarn. That was great. So I can't really complain too much on that. Like I said, it's personal preference. I could have chosen to just pitch the yarn and use yarn that I had in my stash, because again, really for the price point and everything, this is a 5 out of 5 because this is only $12.49 for this book. And today, the only way you're going to get cheaper than that when you're getting a book is if you're going digital. So, and then it's half of that, but then you have 0 product. So, I mean, balance is what it's all about. So, if you're still following me with all my rambling, down in the description, you should have seen a link so you can get your own Harry Potter crochet kit. It does take you to Amazon. And there is also a link for just some basic crochet hooks. So that way, if by somewhere chance you get one that has that plastic hook, you could also get those. And it gives you multiple sizes. What's great about that is using the different hook sizes, you can make these amigurumi figures automatically different sizes using the same yarn, which is awesome. And then there are stitch counters down there. I really, 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 really love having a good stitch counter on me, just because I have kids and my life gets busy. So if I just mark the beginning of my row around, no matter what I'm doing, it's easy to see where I left off and to see what round I was on within the book, and I can keep going. I don't have to like, no, hold on, oh, you're making me lose count and all that stuff, and get mad if there's just a stitch counter right there. So highly recommended. There's also a link for those. Again, all these links will take you to Amazon, and do believe that's it. As far as yarn goes, because of the weight of this yarn, it is of the same weight as the I Love This yarn from Hobby Lobby. So if I was going to recommend a yarn to use to make these that is softer, I would recommend the I Love This yarn hobby yarn. So I put a link down there also for Hobby Lobby's the yarn section for that I Love This yarn. And if you are just wanting some junk yarn that's cheap to use to make these, I would then recommend getting the Walmart brand Mainstays. If they don't have the color you need, then use Red Heart. Red Heart tends to be a bit itchier. So if you have sensory issues, or the person you're making it for has sensory issues, definitely, if you're going to use the two, use the Mainstays over Red Heart. But if you're more proficient with crochet, or you don't mind maybe having to junk some of the yarn, go with the Hobby Lobby's. I love this yarn. It is a softer acrylic yarn. And the price point's similar, so it's not like, you know, you're paying a whole bunch more money for this yarn from Hobby Lobby. Vice, using Red Heart. It's just like, some people, the textures of textiles is very bothersome, or it causes a lot of effects for them and feels. So if you're making it for someone that has that going on for them, definitely keep in mind. That's kind of why I talk about softness of the yarn so much, is because I have that in my house. I do deal with textures with my oldest and my youngest. So with that, he is super cute. I may make him into a finger puppet at some point. You might see me make another one, or make some more of them and just kind of post them on like Instagram, or in a little post here, whichever. But next up, since I'm doing some reviews on Crochet Kids, it is about time for me to give you guys some tutorials. I am left-handed, so they will be left-handed focused, but I will take some time, probably, if I feel comfortable enough, and do right-handed ones as well. So with that, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. I hope you like this. If you did, please stick around and see some more.